We are now going to understand about John Austin speech act theory. So first of all, let's understand who was John Austin. He has a distinct place in the ordinary language philosophy, particularly in the Oxford Linguistic School, and his contribution was in the development of analytic thought, which was recognized as remarkable. And he has written very less paper because he died very early. He has a very brief life, just about 49 years, and in his entire life he has written philosophical papers, and in his work it was the concepts included like a priori concepts, pretending, performative utterances, sense and sensibilia, how to do things with words. These are his writings, which was published before his death or posthumously also. And some of the lectures were also converted later on in the form of text. Okay. Now let's see the analysis of speech act. Why speech act? We are understanding speech act because we have to understand the concept of meaning. So Austin says that just like we are walking, reading, writing, and the same way we are uttering the sentence. So when we are uttering the sentence, it has some meaning which includes the performative action. So anything which I am saying, it does mean that I want you to perform it. And that is why it is called as speech act theory. Speech which includes act. The speech also and act also. Like walking, that means I am walking. That means I'm moving towards a direction. Reading, that means I'm completing a text. Writing, I means I'm thinking and putting down my thoughts. In the similar way, if I'm uttering a sentence, that means I'm uttering sentence that needs to be performed. I'm saying, bring me a glass of water. That means I'm not just saying it, but I want you to bring me a glass of water. That means I'm expecting also. Right? So speech act means we have to understand the meaning of a speech by understanding how it is used. So traditionally, we have three kind of sentences. First, assertive, that means a positive, then exclamatory, which is kind of exclamation, and then interrogative, which is a kind of query. Now, Austin says that this kind of classification was faulty because it ignores the function statements. That means it ignores how the sentences could be used as a function. Like example is given, could you vacate the seat? This is a question. Alright, this is a question, inquiry, or a kind of order, or a request, or a suggestion, or a warning, anything. How you will know that it is a suggestion or it is a warning? You can know by the utterance, and therefore utterance is very important. So in the traditional classification, the utterances and their understanding was not given, and therefore Austin has came up with a theory where we can study the utterance also. So here is his work, which is called Performative Constitutive. In this article, he has given about the two type of utterances, the performative and the constitutive. So you can just do one thing, like you can write the title that we are studying about analysis of speech act, then Austin, what he has criticized. He has criticized the traditional classification, and then what he has given. He has given about the performative and constitutive, and where he is given in a performative constitutive article. This way you can write in a structured way so that you know that where you are going and what you are writing. Now let's see the meaning of constitutive. Constitutive utterances are declarative, in which we declare something. Like 2 and 2 make 4. Patna is the capital of Bihar. So this utterances has the property of either true or false, and that is why it is called as constitutive utterances or declarative utterances. But now let us understand performative utterances. Performative means it is asking you to perform. It is asking you to perform an action. For example, if I say, I name this ship Liberty, or I advise you, I promise you, in all this thing you say that says that it could, in a way, are not true or false, but it is something which is going to happen in the future. So if I am saying I promise, it means I am doing something that has the kind of ability to be truthful or falsified in the future sense. So if a person is saying some performative sentence, he is authorized to perform the action. So if I am saying, I promise you that I will take you to the trip after your exam, that means if I am keeping up the promise, then I am making you happy. If I am not making up this promise, then I am making you unhappy. Right? So this is what Austin means, that if you have to do the performative utterances, then means you have to fulfill that utterances also. It means just saying it won't make it a good utterance, and therefore you have to perform it also. Austin has also written a book called How to Do Things with Words, which was posthumously published, and there he says that constantly performative classification of utterances is inadequate. So now he is criticizing his own theory. Now he is saying that the declarative sentences are not adequate. For example, the cases like, I suppose that, I assume that, I am sorry. All these things is a kind of descriptive of the speaker's feelings. So it could be true, it could be false. It could be true or false, depends on the speaker's intention, speaker's mood, speaker's feeling towards the one who is listening to him. Alright, so now let us understand the comprehensive classification which he has given later on, and which we are going to study and understand. This classification is called Locutionary Act, then Illocutionary Act, and the Perlocutionary Act. So already we have seen the brief of it in our previous text. Now let's see one by one what does it mean. So let us understand it very properly, because these terms will be used again and again. So by just understanding the term itself, we should know the meaning of it. That kind of understanding is required now. Like, you know the words called act, you know the words called speech. I don't need to tell you what does it mean to be called speech, what does it mean to be called act. And similarly, you have to know the definition of the terms like locutionary, illocutionary, perlocutionary, so that even in the exam when it will come to you, then you will understand that this means that. So you don't need to go through the text again. Alright. So first thing is locutionary act. Locutionary act means the act of saying something. It is an act itself, like the starting phase of the delivery of an act. So when I am starting something, a noise is coming up, a sound is coming up. This utterance of the words in a certain constructive way with a proper meaning of it is called as locutionary act. Right? I am just starting the this lecture. If I am saying that, that means locutionary act. Just the beginning of the phase. My voice coming to you, my voice reaching to you, this is the locutionary act. That means my act of saying something. Just before you have listened to it and just before you have understood it. It is just concerning the act of me. Right? What I am saying to you, that only is considered under the locutionary act. That means it is the act of saying something. That means it is limited to me only. Does not yet been come to you. Now, second is illocutionary act, which includes the performance of an act in saying something. That means it carries a force. Now, if I say that you have to give me assignment, this is an illocutionary act, because now my voice is also coming to you, but I also want from you some reaction. Right? So this is the performance of an act is also included. So in the locutionary act, there was only the act of saying something. In the illocutionary act, there is a performance of an act also. Okay? With the performance of an act, there also includes the meaning. So if I'm saying you that you have to complete the assignment, that means I expect from you that you understand the meaning. That means I'm not saying in Greek. I'm saying in a very proper language that you can understand. Okay? So that is the major difference between locutionary act and the illocutionary act. Locution could be anything. It could be an assurance, a warning, a announcing, a pronouncing, appointment, appeal, giving a description. Any function could be included in this, but you just have to understand that this has just been starting phase. This does not mean that you have to perform it because you have not yet understood it. Once you have started understanding, that means illocutionary act has been started. Okay? Illocutionary force are working. So illocutionary act is a conventional act. Why convention? Because I want you to confirm it. If I'm saying please give me your assignment, that means I want or I expect from you that I get the result. Alright. Third one is perlocutionary act, and perlocutionary act is saying something will often or even normally produce certain consequential effect upon the feelings, thoughts or actions of the audience or of the speaker or of other person, and it may be done with the design, intention or purpose of producing them. So if I am saying that you have to finish the assignment, that means it is reaching to your conscious state, and now the reminder button has been set up that now how long it will take me to complete the assignment, how long I will be finishing it, right? So when this type of cognitive processes started functioning, then that is called as perlocutionary act. That means what I have said to you, please complete the assignment, that means now you have understood the language, understood the meaning, and you have started planning that when you have to give the assignment. So this kind of acts are defined by Austin. Alright. So example given here, a teacher while saying get out of the classroom to his student performs a locutionary act when he utters the sentence, and the illocutionary act will start when the student will actually go out. Okay? And the perlocutionary act will start when the student reaction will come up. Reaction like he will be annoyed, he will be angry, he will feel frustrated that why I have been chosen to be get out of the classroom or whatever, right? So these are the three kinds of acts that is given by Austin.